2024 has already been a monumental year for roller coasters, but 2025 will crush it in every way possible. That said, we should talk about some of these rides, especially since many of them are flying under the radar. Starting off with the United States, Epic Universe will bring 4 new roller coasters to Orlando, many of which are prototypes and unique. Firstly, Hiccup's Wing Gliders will be an Intamin family launch coaster with 2 launches in a visually appealing setting, going over lakes and pathways. This coaster will be very well themed like most Universal rides, and will certainly be a hit, although not the Star Family coaster in this park by any means. That title might go to the unnamed mock spinning launch coaster in the Monsters area of the park. It goes through a wooded setting and contains lots of theming elements, but the most intriguing part of the ride is the spinning trains. As of now, we are not sure if they are on a controlled axis or not, but they will make for a fun ride. During the middle portion of the coaster, there will be a multi-pass LSM launch with cars going in and out of a small shed that will most likely have theming inside. Minecart Madness is the most unique coaster coming to the resort, with a prototype design that will make for insane visuals of the train jumping the track. As for the ride itself, it will be pretty tame, but the theming of Donkey Kong will propel it for many. Also, little to no screens will be used, which is great, especially since Universal's direct competitor heavily relies on them nowadays. Last and definitely best, Stardust Racers is a mock dueling coaster that will rival some of the best coasters in Florida. It has 2 launches per side, making for 4, and the elements are also different depending on the side, which will make it much more interesting, and for the coaster enthusiasts, it will be 2 credits. This looks like a work of art and a home run from both Mock and Universal, and will be a huge draw from people all across the country to make their way to Epic Universe. Codaland is finally on track for a 2025 opening, and 2 new headlining attractions will debut. Firstly, Palindrome will be a punchy Gerstlauer infinity with multiple elements popularized by modern manufacturers such as RMC. Examples of this include the wave turn and a captivating stall over the road outside the park. All of this will be great, but the backwards portion will add more spice and solidify it as a great coaster. Circuit Breaker is the real star here, as it is the first new generation tilt coaster from Vekoma. Many elements stand out here, from the death roll looking inversion to the drop itself. Hopefully parks will see this coaster and start to build a relationship with Vekoma, as they have been killing it overseas, and many US parks would benefit from adding a new gen ride like this to their park. SeaWorld San Antonio will be debuting a new coaster next year, but it will not be as large as some of the others in this video. We have little information about this attraction, however, it will be a Zero family shuttle coaster, very similar in style to the Vekoma family boomerangs. While we are not sure, it could also be a dueling coaster, similar in size to Minifigure Speedway that opened in the UK this year. Carowinds is adding on to their already impressive Camp Snoopy, and a new family launch coaster will be the headlining ride in this area. It will be nearly identical layout to the multi-launch art engineering coaster already at Canada's Wonderland. This ride is very well themed and has interactive elements, which I hope Carowinds will choose to incorporate. While many were hoping for a larger ride, a solid family coaster is a huge gap in Carowinds' lineup, and this will help balance it. If you clicked on this video, you probably like roller coasters, so it would be a huge help if you subscribed. It's completely free and I have tons of coaster content from both the States and Europe on the way. With that being said, let's keep going with the coasters. King's Dominion will be receiving a shiny new B&M wing coaster for 2025, which will be similar in size to Thunderbird. Featuring an airtime hill launch and multiple inversions, this coaster will be a huge crowd pleaser and is a perfect topper for Jungle Expedition. This one actually got leaked a long time ago via someone posting online and definitely getting fired from their job, but this might be the successor to Volcano in many ways, and the park fans will be very happy with this coaster. While on the topic of new B&Ms, Busch Gardens Williamsburg is slated to get a new family invert in the style of Phoenix Rising at its sister park in Florida. This will pay tribute to the Big Bad Wolf and feature theming elements similar to those found on the original attraction. Along with that, 2 lifts and many elements will take place on a long winding course. Mattel Adventure Park is yet another new park coming to the States and Arizona next year, and Chance Rides created a package deal for the park with 2 coasters. Firstly, Bone Shaker will be a family coaster very similar to Slime Streak at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. This will stand at a height of 82 feet and have a long meandering layout, even going on top of the theme park's roof. Twin Mill Racer will be the headlining attraction at this park, with a bright orange paint job and huge elements. Featuring an LSM launch and 4 oddly profiled inversions, this is the needed revival of the Hyper GTX coaster, even if it is heavily different from the original at Kentucky Kingdom. The theme will also be a throwback to Mini, and a draw to younger audiences, as Hot Wheels are a recognizable IP. Fun Spot Orlando could be adding a brand new RMC next year, but this is completely based off their tweets and posts teasing it. They have the space to build a Raptor if they remove the splash pad. However, they could also build a bigger coaster if they use some of the staging areas. Steel Pier, one of the many unique boardwalk parks in New Jersey, will be adding a new coaster next year. Now, will this ride be unique? No, as the premier Skyrocket 2 clones have already taken over the world. This will allow for great views though, as a lot of the time is spent high up, including the Heartline roll, which gives great hang time. Hopefully this ride will have just lap bars, since the premier trains are very uncomfortable, especially with the comfort collars. On to Canada. Canada's Wonderland is making major preparations for their next major attraction, which will be a high thrill coaster. While we are not sure about the manufacturer or model, a common rumor I've seen going around is a Zamperla Lightning Coaster. It would make sense if Cedar Fair had a package deal for Top Thrill 2 in this ride, but many other manufacturers may be in the running, including B&M, which is the norm for Cedar Fair, and also Vekoma, who has almost come out of nowhere and is now working with Cedar Fair. In Switzerland, Coneyland will be debuting a Ride Engineers rollerball coaster, the same model and size as the iconic Wilde Hilda. This park isn't big by any means, with Cobra being the main draw, but this will add a bit of depth to their lineup and a more family-oriented ride. Walibi Belgium is getting a Gerstlauer family coaster in 2025, and while there isn't much known about this ride, the coaster will contain 3 launches and be on a similar scale to something like Fire Chaser Express, although it may not go backwards or have surprise elements. In the Netherlands, Walibi Holland, the sister park of Walibi Belgium, is receiving the largest RMC Raptor to date. While it isn't remarkable in terms of general stats, the key factor in its enticement is the dueling aspect. This will take on a similar idea of the Star Trek coaster at Universal Singapore, with one track being more intense with inversions and the other being a tamer experience oriented towards families. Normally, I wouldn't mention a country like this that so few will get to, but so many monumental attractions are opening in Saudi Arabia that I cannot pass it up. Firstly, a Transformer-themed SNS Axis coaster will be going to 7 Yambu. This will have an LSM launch and will be fully enclosed, leading to possible thematic elements and show scenes, especially with the ability that the cars have to rotate. The elephant in the room here is Six Flags Qiddiya, with a total of 8 coasters planned for its opening year. Adrenaline is a custom layout Vekoma SFC, and not much is known about this coaster other than its basic tats, which is 66 feet tall and 45 miles an hour. Colossus is based off the classic wooden giants of the late 20th century, but the ride seems to be indicative of a more modern design. Built by GCI, this will be on a similar scale to many of their wooden coasters and contain almost 3,000 feet of winding track. The most interesting part of the coaster is the Infinity Flyer trains, which don't have a wonderful reception from Zambezi Zinger. Iron Rattler may be one of the star coasters at Qiddiya, and no, it's not an RMC. Instead, it's the world's largest tilt coaster, standing at over 200 feet tall. While the ones currently built seem like one-trick ponies, Rattler will be much different and have over 4,000 feet of track. Along with that, many new generation Vekoma elements will be added for many airtime moments and 6 inversions. Sawmill Falls is a custom layout mock water coaster, which will be perfect to cool guests off from the grueling desert heat. I would also not be surprised to see multiple interactions with the pathways, as it would both look cool and be yet another great way to beat the heat. Sea Stallion will be another of the growing Mauer Spike model, but it will incorporate special rockwork and theming to differentiate itself along with the custom layout. To cap off Qiddiya, 2 major Intamins will stand out from the rest of the pack. Spitfire is a downscaled version of Top Thrill 2, but it was actually made by Intamin and will have some differences to spice up the thrill factor. For one, it will probably have a more intense launch, but the most intriguing part is the inverted top hat, which will be mind-boggling to experience at more than hyper heights. The spike will also be good, but all eyes are on the top hat for this ride. Speaking of attention, the crown jewel of this park will break barriers and records on a level never done before. I think you already know what I'm talking about, but Falcon's Flight seemed like a dream or imaginary thought at first for most of us, as the chances of it actually being constructed were very slim. However, Intamin stepped in and did what they are known for, which is pushing the limits. This will be the first 600-foot coaster, or exocoaster, and have it drop over 500 feet off a cliff face, reaching speeds of over 150 miles per hour, which is yet another record. Falcon has several drawn-out moments that will provide prolonged sensations and also give insane G-forces. Having almost 14,000 feet of track is absolutely absurd, and it almost doubles the previous length record in Japan with Steel Dragon 2000. To sum it up, Falcon will be an absolutely generational attraction that will skyrocket into the rankings of those who experience it. And that about does it for this video. If you want to watch a video reviewing a lawn ornament, click here.